You must understand this very well. You no longer need to be understood. You need peace. If someone did not practice empathy while hurting you and leaving, you are not obligated to show kindness while distancing yourself from them. Kindness is a gift presented to those who deserve it. It is not alms that must be distributed to everyone. You all know that invisible rule we have been taught since childhood. Lest it be rude, lest our mood be spoiled. Endure it, let it slide. Be compatible. However, no one told us the price of being rude to ourselves just to avoid being rude to others. No one told us how we slowly kill that person in the mirror while trying to please everyone. Today, I want to tell you to stop giving up on yourself just to beg for love. This video will offer you perhaps the most dangerous, most forbidden, but most liberating perspective you have ever heard to take control of your life. If necessary, be rude. If necessary, be known as the bad one. But never, ever betray yourself. This video was not prepared just to teach you how to say no. It was prepared to give you back your lost upright posture and your boundaries. We are here to transform you from that compatible person everyone likes into that person of character everyone respects. If you are tired of being tossed around in other people's scripts, write this sentence in the comments to make a pact with your mind and seal the change. Saying no to others is saying yes to myself. By writing this, you declare to your subconscious that you refuse to carry those unnecessary burdens anymore. As Marcus Aurelius said, how much time he gains who does not look to what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only to what he does himself. If you are ready, we begin now. 1. Do not confuse being harmless with being good. In nature, when a weak animal encounters a predator much stronger than itself, it lies on its back and exposes its belly, its most vulnerable part. This is exactly the attitude most of us display in life. It is a primitive defense mechanism you developed to escape danger and protect yourself from rejection. Your subconscious constantly whispers the lie. If you are compatible, you won't be harmed. If you bow your head, the sword won't strike. However, in the world we live in, there is no tiger to eat you. There are only toxic people looking for opportunities to violate your boundaries, exploit your labor, and use your good intentions. Every time you let things slide, every time you give an unnecessary smile, you send a signal to these people. I am harmless. You can crush me. I am not a threat to you. Remember that excessive humility is not advice to a mediocre person. It only gives them courage. Your gentlemanly or ladylike attitude is the strongest fertilizer feeding the other party's arrogance. A tiger with its teeth pulled out and claws shed is not peaceful because it doesn't attack, right? It is simply inadequate. If you do not have the capacity to bite, the power to flip the table, or the courage to start an argument when necessary, being peaceful is not a moral choice. It is a necessity. Goodness only gains value when you have the potential to do evil, but choose to keep that power within you. When you remain silent just to avoid breaking someone's heart, you are not actually performing a moral act. You are merely admitting that you do not possess that inner fire to defend yourself in a moment of conflict. You are admitting you are afraid. The obedience of someone who has no choice is not loyalty. It is sheer slavery. And according to Seneca, the worst kind of slavery is the slavery of those who think they are free. People love this harmless version of you that bows to everything because it is extremely easy to manage, direct, and use you. However, unless they see an upright stance and a potential danger in your eyes, they will never feel a deep respect for you. Remember Jordan Peterson's famous warning, be dangerous, but keep it under control. Real dignity comes from having the power to harm and the intelligence to put someone in their place, yet choosing kindness anyway. Those around you should not approach your boundaries because they believe you are nice, but because they know what might happen if they violate them, that you are capable of being rude. A kindness without deterrence is no different from a doormat that everyone steps on. Therefore, tear off that docile child mask stuck to your face. Stop deceiving yourself. You are not kind. You are currently just afraid of conflict. Real goodness is born from a sharpened will that knows how to keep the sword in its scabbard. Aim not for people to love you, but for them to respect you because of your boundaries. Remember, the angel-like person loved by everyone is actually an ineffective element whom no one takes seriously. Now look in the mirror and ask yourself honestly, is your silence coming from your virtue or from the fact that you have no teeth? If your answer is the latter, first sharpen your teeth, draw your boundaries with thick lines, and do not be afraid to make those who violate those boundaries pay the price. Only then does your kindness become a gift, not a necessity born of fear. 2. Delete the debt of making explanations. Remember your primary school years. You had to raise your finger and ask the teacher for permission just to go to the toilet or drink water. Why? Because you were not the authority in that classroom. Years have passed. You now earn your own money and live in your own home. But today, when you list excuses like, I can't come because I'm sick, or because I have too much work, instead of simply saying no, it means you still haven't lowered that finger in your mind. As you explain yourself, you put the other person in the position of the teacher and yourself back in the position of that helpless student waiting for permission. Yet, in that moment, there is only one truth. You just didn't want to. But you act as if saying this truth constitutes a crime in your vocabulary. People who have the audacity to hold you accountable expect a detailed breakdown of every decision you make and every step you take. As you explain, you descend one more step in the hierarchy of the other person's mind. Because one of the most fundamental laws of power in the world is this: equals converse, subordinates report. With every sentence starting with because, you are giving the message, please approve of me, please don't be mad at me. You claim to be the boss of your own life, but wait for a visa from someone else for your decisions. This contradiction erodes your character. An emperor does not present justifications to his subjects for the orders he gives. A commander does not waste time explaining the reasons to his soldiers when he gives the order to attack. Power feeds on ambiguity. You, however, simplify yourself by making everything transparent and explaining every detail. When the other person fully understands why you said no, they start producing arguments to refute that no. If your excuse is, I don't have time, they come with suggestions to create time for you and corner you. However, a clear, cold no without justification is a wall closed to discussion. They hit that wall and stop. The moment you stop making explanations, you take away the other person's control mechanism over you. People fear uncertainty, and this fear creates respect in them. When they don't know why you didn't come, they create much more important, much more mysterious scenarios about you in their minds. Because they cannot solve you, they have to approach you more carefully. When you end your need to explain, that heavy burden lifts from your shoulders. Stop wasting your words. If you have made a decision, that decision is in your sovereign territory and does not need the approval of an outside observer. As Marcus Aurelius said, we all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Stop doing this. From now on, when someone tries to hold you accountable, use the power of that deep silence. Look them in the eye and just state your decision. No excuses, no lies. No effort to soften it. Let that silence be the loudest thing in the room. Let them wonder what you think and what you feel. 3. Accept being ridiculed and condemned from the start. If you imagine a world where everyone admires you, no one condemns you, and at the same time, you are the absolute master of your own life, wake up immediately. Such a world does not exist. Freedom is not free. Its invoice is issued to you as being excluded and found strange. You want both to be safe within the flock of sheep and to hunt alone like a wolf. But these two do not go together. If you want to have character and display an upright posture, you must accept people pointing at you and saying, "Look at you. What have you become?" This doesn't suit you at all. In fact, accepting it is not enough. You should set it as a goal. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus did not mince words when showing this path to his students. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This sentence is a sledgehammer to your ego. Most people sell their souls to look smart, cool, or high status. You should do the opposite. When you draw your boundaries, say no, or reject the ridiculous things imposed on you. People will look at you with uncomprehending eyes. They will find you rude. They will find you strange. They might even say you've lost your mind. Let them. Their finding you smart or compatible shows how well you obey their rules. Having no problems with anyone shows that there is a problem with you. The better a slave serves their master, the more well done they get. You should push that well done away with the back of your hand. When you enter a room, leave your desire to be loved at the door. People's whispers, condemnations, or censures about you should bounce off your skin and fall to the ground. If someone tells you you were rude, it means you are on the right path. Because in their dictionary, being rude means you stopped serving our interests. When you hear this expression, instead of blushing with shame, let out a victory cry inside. It means the chain is broken. It means you are no longer their puppet. Being condemned is the tax a free person pays. Those who avoid paying this tax are condemned to live their whole lives trembling in the shadows of others. One who understood this best was the young Stoic Cato, one of Rome's most powerful and noble names. Cato would intentionally walk the streets of Rome in clothes of incompatible colors, completely contrary to the fashion of the time, sometimes even barefoot. That magnificent senator did this specifically so that people would look at him, laugh behind his back, whisper, and condemn him. When his friends asked why he humiliated himself like this, his answer was a life lesson. I am learning not to be ashamed of these simple things, so that tomorrow, when they condemn me for defending the truth, that feeling of shame will not cause me pain. Cato was callousing his sense of shame to kill the "what will people say" sensitivity in his soul. He knew that someone who does not gain immunity against the mockery and condemnation of people can never sign off on great decisions. Your reputation is an illusion in your mind. Do not sacrifice your own truth to protect that illusion. Let them know you as cold. Let them say you have changed. You have no reputation to lose. You have a life to win. If no one is criticizing you on the path you walk, if no one says, "I couldn't associate this with you," you are probably on the wrong path, because that path belongs to others, not you. Everyone who carves their own path must leave a surprised and angry crowd behind. Now make your choice. Will you be an applauded captive or a condemned sovereign? 4. Treat those who get offended like overgrown children. What do you feel when you see a 3-year-old child in the middle of a supermarket throwing themselves on the floor, screaming at the top of their lungs, and pounding their fists because they weren't bought the candy they wanted? You probably feel not anger, but a slight pity and a sense of disgust at that spoiled behavior. Now, grow that child's body. Add wrinkles to their face. Put adult clothes on them. This is exactly what that big person is, who sulks, pouts, or acts moody when you set a boundary. When you say no to them or don't meet an expectation, the grumpy attitude they display is a state of mental regression. The person in front of you may be biologically 30, 40, or 50 years old, but their emotional intelligence is at the same level as a preschooler whose toy was taken away. You must read this scene correctly. Most of you feel deep guilt when the other person pouts or stops talking to you. You eat yourself up thinking, "Did I go too far? Did I break their heart?" You even go and try to win them over, to fix the situation. What you are doing is no different from giving the candy to the crying child, just so they shut up. At that moment, you reward their morbid behavior. Sulking or pouting is not a reaction belonging to the adult world. An adult person comes and talks if they have a problem. They express their discomfort with words. The person who tries to punish you by withdrawing their love and interest instead of using words is a blackmailer saying, "If you don't do what I say, I will make you sad." The moment you bow to this silent blackmail, you hand the strings over to that spoiled child. Once that person learns they can get what they want by pouting, they will use it against you for the rest of their life. Marcus Aurelius says, "Maturity is accepting reality as it is." The person in front of you tries to bend reality with emotional manipulation because they cannot accept the reality of your no. They play the victim role to break your will. Do not buy a ticket to this theater. Do not see this attitude of theirs as sensitivity or emotionality. This is sheer weakness, sheer manipulation. What you need to do is show them the treatment they deserve. Total indifference. As long as they do not act like an adult, refuse to take them seriously as an adult. Did they stop talking to you? Let them. Are they not answering your calls? Stop calling immediately. Is their face sour when they come home? Don't ask, "What's wrong?" Enjoy yourself. Watch your TV. Eat your food. This cheerful and indifferent attitude of yours will drive them crazy, because they are waiting for that dark cloud they created to rain on you. When you open your umbrella and continue on your way, all their weapons backfire. If a person is offended by your boundaries, it is not your fault. It is the problem of their ungrown ego. Trying to console them is feeding a manipulator. Let them stew in their own juice. Your job is not to coddle people's whims or repair their fragile egos. If someone cannot speak to you in a civilized manner and finds the solution in pouting, the distance you put between you and that person is not a punishment. It is a hygiene rule. Look at them and say to yourself, "Grow up and then come back." And until they grow up, which they probably never will, continue on your way without even looking back. 5. Being able to stand alone. Where you are. Think of that first second when you are left alone in a cafe, a waiting room, or at home. Your hand reflexively goes straight to your phone. Your fingers struggle to touch a screen, to find a noise, to establish a connection. Why? Because you are running away from that deep silence formed in your mind, like running away from a dark alley. Those crowded environments you call socializing, or went so it wouldn't be rude, are actually shelters. You are among people not because you love them, but because you cannot tolerate yourself. Staying alone with your own mind feels so scary, so empty to you, that you hide in the noise of the shallowest conversations and the fakest laughs to suppress your own inner voice. The Stoic philosopher Seneca explains this situation in his letters to Lucilius. The primary indication of a well-ordered mind is a man's ability to remain in one place and linger in his own company. If a person cannot manage to sit peacefully in a room without any external stimuli, without a phone, without music, without people, that person is not free. They are an addict of the outside world. If you feel worthless or like a loser when you don't have plans on a Friday night, you have mortgaged the confirmation of your existence to the existence of others. Mixing into crowds and running to those endless events is actually an announcement of an internal bankruptcy. Because there is no one inside, you try to fill that void with the crowd outside. However, true strength is the art of standing alone in that void. Every environment you join just because it would be rude, they invited us, we can't not go, is a piece stolen from your soul. When you reject an invitation, you shouldn't care if people call you wild or cold. They constantly roam in herds because they cannot be alone. A flock of sheep gets uneasy when they see a wolf standing alone, because that wolf does not need the flock. Your solitude should not be an abandonment, but a conscious choice, a noble state of self-sufficiency. You must realize that you are not a battery charged by the energy of others, but a generator producing its own energy. Ask yourself this ruthless question: who am I when there is no one around to distract me? If the answer to this question is a giant nothingness, then you will run like a slave to every invitation, every phone call, every "come on, let's go" call. But if you have built your own mind and are friends with your own thoughts, then solitude is not a punishment for you, but a reward. People won't understand this. They will think this standing alone of yours is arrogance or depression, because they know they would go crazy in that silence, and they are jealous of how you stand so peacefully and upright in that same silence. From now on, see those places and those people you go to just to not be rude as a burden. Get up from the table, leave the crowd, go home, and stay in that room, alone, doing nothing. At first, your mind will scream, get bored, and want to escape. Resist. Beyond that boredom lies an unshakable will that needs no one and finds approval within itself. Despite those who say you were rude, that moment you can say, "I'm glad I did it" to yourself, is the moment your chains break. No one who can stand alone owes anything to anyone. And the only person who has no debt is the true master. Before closing the video, I want to drive one last nail into your mind. Until today, you may have lived your life like a roadside inn without a door, where anyone could enter, pollute, and pillage as they pleased. People entered that door swinging their arms. They consumed your energy. They ate the food on your table and didn't even say a thank you as they left. And you always thought it was rude to say, "Stop, you cannot enter." You thought if you locked the door, they would exclude you. However, the ultimate truth the Stoics teach us is this: your mind and soul are not an inn, but a sacred temple, and the doors of temples are not open to everyone. It is the most sacred duty of the temple guard to keep watch at that door, to question those trying to enter, and not to let those who are not worthy cross that threshold. From today on, hit that lock on that door. People will force the door. They will bang on the windows. They will shout from outside, "Let us in!" How much you've changed. How rude you are. Let them shout. Let them say you are being rude just because they were left behind closed doors. While they are making noise outside, you enjoy that deep silence and peace inside. Remember, setting boundaries is the architecture of the respect you have for yourself. And one who cannot protect their own temple can never host a divine guest within. The key to your temple is now only in your pocket. To whom you give it is now your business. Until we meet in the next video, be stoic and stay strong.